Next on Vox Africa, Aanu Michael brings you unique showcases on Nigeria. Today on the 411, I profile one of Africa's most dynamic higher institutions, as well as discuss with its founder and chancellor, Aare Afe Babalola. We'll be right back. So much, sir, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
For someone who had little formal education, you have grown from that to become one of Africa's best lawyers. What has been your life's driving principle?
I thank God for what I am. Okay. And I think if I had come from different parents, maybe I wouldn't be what I am. My parents, although peasant farmers, were hardworking, very industrial people, very hopeful. And they taught us all that you need to be a total man, hard work and industry, and of course, believe in yourself. All these put together make one a great person. I knew from the time when I was very young on the farm that I was going to be a big farmer. My father's early maize used to be the first in the town. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, at that time, the economy was more of give and take. Well, you have yam, you give to the person who wants maize and so on. It wasn't a cash economy like this. Otherwise, my father would have been a very prosperous person. I think I derived that industry from him. Let me tell you, we used to wake up as early as 4:30 if we slept in the town, travel about 7 miles to the farm on the hill, and then immediately we go to the farm, we go to work, and we would only eat at about 12, and we don't leave the farm where we cook the yam or maize and we did it there. It was about 5 p.m. that we stopped working. And we had to prepare our food. You know, there was no electricity on the farm anyway. And by 6 o'clock, the evening pandejia was ready. We would eat and then go to bed. As early as 6:30 again, we start work. So I'm used to working for about 18 hours a day up to today. That's what the driving force.
Wow, incredible. Now, despite your erudition and fame, you're very famous, in Africa, in Nigeria here. You have consistently and continuously rejected every invitation to serve in government. What are your reasons?
Well, I do not believe in the system of government we have in this country. Okay. Right from the time when the military took over in 1966, since I've been going from bad to worse, and now worse to worst. I don't want to be part of a system where people who inherit the British system of government believe that all you have to do is to work and get money. Make money. There's an adage Yoruba which says, "Akisheshe ijoba kalagun," meaning you do not do government work and perspire. So only lazy people work for government because there you don't have to perspire to make money. I remember there were those who were civil service who would come to work maybe 8:30 or 9, put their bag on their table, go about down work and come back at 2 o'clock to pick their bag. I don't want to be part of it. So when I had the opportunity of being invited a number of times to be minister, I knew I won't succeed in working with the type of civil servants we have. That is the main reason. I will make enemy with them. Because I'm used to going to my office before 7. And I'm used to not working till 11:30, 12 in the night. If I brought that type of thing into civil service, I would create instant enemies. I thought I better stay away from government work.
Now that takes me to the next question. You know, you are 88 or 89 right now, and
Yes.
you know, 8 years ago, at the age of about 80, when other people would be winding down and retiring, you caught a new passion. You want to set, a new benchmark educational institution in Africa. And you founded, Afe Babalola University on virgin ground. You built structures from scratch. It's incredible. What was your burning passion?
I cannot explain all that here now.
Okay.
It's enough to say that even though I did not serve as minister, I went to the University of Lagos on the invitation of the president of the country, to whom I'm very grateful, President Obasanjo, because there was corruption in University of Lagos, because the degrees were being sold up to Korea, far away in the east. And some lecturers were not happy about it. And they revolted against the administration. So the place was polarized. And I was invited to go and take over. I saw that as an opportunity to show the type of person I am. I went in. First, I refused to stay in the pro-chancellor's luxurious apartment building. I refused to use the government car. I refused to take my allowance. And I worked for the first 4 years to clear the mess. And I thank God I was rewarded by the Nigerian University Commission, which gave me the award as the best pro-chancellor at the time, repeatedly too.
2 years running, we know.
So when I left the place, having the established very, very good quality education, having restructured the place. For instance, my clients helped me to tar the roads, to refurbish the hostels, put up new buildings, and so on and so forth. I thought, what was left for me was to establish my own university and then run it in such a way that would be a reference point for others.
Okay.
That's how I came about establishing Afe Babalola University.
Wow.
And at that time, I was about 80 years old. But I remember, Moses was 80 years when he helped the Israelites to leave Egypt. If you could do that, why at 80 can't I start an education institute which will be the best and which will reform education in the country? There's a missing link in education. You have the poor quality. Of course, you have good quality elsewhere. I want to be that link, and that's what we have done.
Wow. And you have sunk your fortune of over 5 decades in Abuad. It's incredible. This organization is registered as a not-for-profit organization.
Yes.
What legacy do you hope? Because you're giving everything, all your life's work back to, Nigeria. Is this your legacy? What legacy do you want to leave behind?
Well, when somebody once asked me, as an audience, this question: who was the wealthiest person when Christ was alive? I'm sure you can't answer that. The answer is not in the Bible. Jesus lived for just about 33 years. He left a legacy. Today, we have billions of people following him. So, today, there are very many wealthy Nigerians. either in naira or dollars or pounds. I tell you, the money you have in the bank does not make you a rich man. It makes you a rich man, but not a wealthy man. The wealthy man is that person who spends his own money to educate the young ones. That person is a wealthy person. It is true I've sold my properties in London, in Abuja, in Lagos, and everywhere. I have very little, if any, left in my bank account. But today, I'm a wealthy man because of my students who are coming out large numbers and are praising me for making them what they are. That's why I believe that my legacy is not the money in the bank. It's not the building or buildings which I have, but in these children. Let me tell you, the only change can be a lasting change and can change the people and change the world. The change that changes the minds of the youth. And I'm changing the minds of youth here.
It's incredible.
Thank you.
It's incredible. Welcome back to the 411 Nigeria. Yes, still discussing with the dynamic Aare Afe Babalola, that's the founder of this university, on his vision of a prosperous Nigeria. Incredible. Now, to Aare Afe Babalola, what is quality education?
Quality education means education that is thorough. In these days of technology, education that is premised on technology, then education that's functional. As a matter of fact, every year when we resume, we hold what we call teaching method for my teachers, whether you are old or young coming in. Here you do not have what we call handout, which is given to students.
To go and read up.
You don't have it. It's an offense to have it. Here, you must come to the institute, to the college at 8 a.m. Whether you have any lesson or not, go and study and research. Here, you must not use telephone between the hours of 8 and 3. Here again, after 3 o'clock, you go to talent discovery or other places after eating and resting to discover and practice what you think is natural talent. And then 7, you are coming back to school with teachers around. And they work till 10 in the night. When you go back, and then by 11, the hostel doors are shut. You see, there's such discipline. When students came the first set, they thought that this is Mr. Old School. But when they came out, thank God. He said, you have taught us how to be a great man. You have taught us how to utilize our time. You have taught us how to giving, because Nigeria do believe in giving, and integrity and so on. And everywhere my students go for an interview, one, they say they are from Afe Babalola University. Whether they are 200 or not, they are number one. To answer your question about quality education, it's not only when you are asked to come and study physics and you pass that you have quality education. It is compulsory here that you must have a certificate in French or Chinese, being the most current international languages.
Wow.
It's important that you must have a certificate in one skill or the other. So when you are going away with your portmanteau, with your certificate, your degree, you must have an portmanteau with all these, make you a total man.
Let's talk about your medical, that's the teaching hospital. It's taking shape right now also for your medical students. What will the, teaching hospital do differently?
You cannot start medicine without having an hospital where you do your clinical work. So we got in touch with Medical Center Ido. It's about 15 miles from here. And the government said, you can't use it because it's not a teaching hospital. However, if you are ready to put in your own money, put your own structures, then you can have, and raise the status of a teaching hospital. We will allow you to use it. So I poured in about 2.5 billion there, developed the place, and government entered the memo of understanding with us. So that's what we use now for our clinical hospital. I was going to use it for a long time. Unfortunately, the virus, which affects Nigeria generally, is also there. When we started, 2 months after, there was strike. One of the things that make us different from other universities is that we have predictable academic calendar. 4 years is 4 years, 5 years, 5 years. But probably university may spend about 10 years for the same course. Yeah. These people are going to corrupt my university. That was why I started this institution, that hospital, which today is beautiful by any standard. And hopefully by 21st of October, the convocation, we will commission it. Thank you.
Okay, now that also takes me to the fact that in both the public and private educational entities in Nigeria, Afe Babalola University is the first educational entity to secure an ADB loan ever. How were you able to do that? And you know, what is the loan for?
Well, in about 54 years of its existence, ADB has never given loan to any university. So never private or public. And the news of what we are doing here has spread beyond the shores of Nigeria. We receive letters from different places every day. Even 2 weeks ago, I received one from Hong Kong. The man said, he read about me, how I started my life. He said, it started the same way. So he's one of the billionaires in Hong Kong. I said he wants to partner with my university. And whatever I want in that area, he wants to be part of us. Wow. So the ADB learned about us too. We applied for this loan. The loan is merely actually to establish a good teaching hospital.
Oh, okay.
But they were so slow that in 2 years I've almost completed that one. In addition, it's also for us, we have industrial research park. I think we'll be, apart from Egypt, I think we'll be the second in the whole of Africa to establish one. We've started already. And as a matter of fact, I have a letter, which I received yesterday, from Silicon Valley to establish a center.
The Silicon Valley?
Yes, in California.
Wow.
Establish a center for research in moringa product. We didn't know we have in abundance my university. My wish and hope is that sooner than later, our university teaching hospital will be the hospital, and there will be no need for you to travel out of this country for any treatment, because we have MOU now with those who would give the consultancy treatment here by special arrangement. And as students and teachers, we also learn from them. So what remains now is to equip the hospital. Okay. And we are already having a lot of support. But apart from that, we are also going to use the ADB loan to purchase most of these things.
You know, I have to ask, what is Abuad's philosophy of entrepreneurship?
I do not believe that education of a person should stop at memorizing what your teacher teaches you. Should go beyond that. Education should really be one that will help to develop your brain, develop your mind, to enable you, when you leave university, apply those things you learn. Not only to go to look for employment, but to create yourself, to innovate, to change the world. And that's what we are doing here. We believe that anybody who goes to university should come out and employ himself. I want my students to be self-employed, or when they are asked, where they need their expertise, then they go as consultants. We are changing the world.
You are changing the world. Now let's talk about benchmark. You're fast moving towards 10th year anniversary here at Afe Babalola University in a couple of years, a year or two. So, what benchmarks should we look forward to?
You are borrowing a language you don't know has been given to us. The constitution here, under the Nigerian University Commission, allows you, anybody, to start a university by hiring a modern school or a rented house to start a university. But you must move to a permanent site within 5 years. I wanted to make a difference. I believe that the university is a place of excellence. And like a church, when you get there, you know this place is dedicated for learning. So I built this place. I didn't tell the NUC. It was when the structures were in place, the equipments were in place, the chairs were in place that I applied to the NUC. So we have since become the benchmark for that. If you know, universities which are as old as 30 years have come here to ask us to mentor them.
Wow.
Yes. I said, look, it's not the age that matters. It is what you are that matters in mentoring somebody. So we are partnership with virtually universities around.
Oh, it's incredible.
If you go to our engineering college, for instance, we have 37 laboratories. When the Nigerian Society of Engineers, who are the professional bodies, came here, he said, 40% of what we have here are not available in any university in this country. And they had declared this place as template for other universities and asked us to allow other universities to come and use our equipment. Of course, we are inviting them. Everybody can come and use our own equipment for their students.
Talking about that, what do you think of the present economy situation? Do you think it's vibrant?
That's a no-go area. 3 years ago, when I started that hospital, the cement has gone 3 times the price. It's gone up 3 times. Sand 3 times. Iron rod 3 times. All the ceiling, the tiles and so on. Roofing 3 times. If I had waited for the loan, ADB loan, it would have cost me about 3 times the amount which I spent in constructing that place today. The economy is bad. And all is due to the fact that we rely solely on one item, oil, and our people misuse the money. We have to diversify. And that's why in this university, we are not relying on school fees. School fees doesn't, if you put together all the money we have received in school fees, it's not up to 1/3 of the money of the investment here now. The economy must be diversified, as I say, but beyond that, why did we get, how come we are where we are now? It was because we did not believe in our forefathers who went to London between 1915 and 1960 and sat in Lancaster House in London to think about how to evolve a Nigerian nation as distinct from Nigeria country. Nigeria country consists of many nations. Yoruba, Igbo, there's so many, about 298 ethnic groups in the country. So they thought the best thing to do was to allow each ethnic group as much as possible to develop at their own rate. And at the end, we have a federal structure where we still remain one country, which we deal with mostly defense and a few other items, and allow each state or region to make use of their resources, maintain their tradition, and so on and so forth. In that case, we have a Nigerian nation. Today, that is not correct. The military had imposed on us a unity government, otherwise known as federal government. That's how you went around my farm.
Yes.
Now you saw those things. How can anybody in Abuja dictate to me how to plant those things here? This is why in our own region it will be easy for the region or the state to develop all those things. And that's why it was in the first 6 years, things were going on fine. For instance, West was very good in cocoa and producing a lot, 50% of which came from Ekiti State then. The East in palm trees and so on. The North in other arable crops like groundnut, cotton, and so on. Everybody was working. There was no unemployment then. There was nobody who could not feed himself. Now we are importing maize. Can you imagine importing maize from far away Argentina to feed your fowl here, your poultry?
Chickens.
It's a terrible thing. So we need to restructure the country in such a way that we go back to what our own forefathers fashioned out for us.
So you are one of the believers in a restructured Nigeria?
I'm not one. I'm one of the principal crusaders for it.
Okay. So you believe the restructuring is what?
Oh, yes. It's the only answer. If you have that, there'll be no question of Biafra, this, that. Nobody wants to leave Nigeria. It's because things are not going well that people are saying, I want to leave Nigeria. It's better for us to be one country. You know, like United States of America. There are states of America. Each state manages its own affair. You don't manage from Washington alone.
Well, coming all the way to you from Afe Babalola University in Ado-Ekiti, right here in Nigeria. I have been having a wonderful time with the founder and Chancellor, Aare Afe Babalola. Thank you so much, sir. It has been such an amazing time.
Thank you, dear. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
We hope to come back soon.
Yes, hopefully you will come for the commissioning of my hospital.
It will be wonderful.
It's going to be a big affair.
Wow.
Invite everybody, that's anybody here.
Well, we look forward to showcasing other greater things right here from Afe Babalola University. It has been such an amazing, amazing time here. I'm so honored to have been able to do this. Until next time, stay beautiful. Bye-bye.